Welcome back to the Marvelous Nerds, the show that where fandom meets the MCU. We nerd out, so we just had the Shield intervention. I, Jim, am here today, diving headfirst into the latest Marvel release, Thunderbolts. From familiar anti-heroes to many uneasy alliances, this film packs a punch, probably with a few betrayals. We'll break down the plot, characters, arcs, and what this means for the future of the MCU. So grab your Ravanian popcorn, tighten your tactical suits, and let's get into Thunderbolts right here on the Marvelous Nerds. So with me, as always, is Jake, who's a huge fan of all of the Marvel stuff. And, Jake, my first question about this is, based on the Thunderbolts character, which one would you trust to babysit your dog?
Well, my dog wouldn't die being protected by any of them, so that's a good thing. I have to go with Red Guardian.
Red Guardian. He does seem like a guy who loves a dog, doesn't he? I can just see him really enjoying that.
Oh, no. I got to go with Yelena because of what we saw in the movie.
Oh.
What's the one thing she saved from that first scene?
Oh, that's true. That's right. That would be it. And I believe that was the only animal we saw in the
entire movie.
So no animals were harmed in the filming of this.
That's right.
All right. Well, before giving away, we don't want any spoilers yet. We'll do that. We'll get to spoiler stuff here later. But what were your impressions, Jake? What do you think? Were you happy? Were you sad? What are your overall views of Thunderbolts?
There are very few MCU movies that I consider.
There's a whole bunch of them. I don't know why you're saying that.
As I was saying, there are very few MCU movies that I consider a perfect 10. This is now probably the 5th one.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm right there with you. I would love to argue with you and say it was terrible. I found myself laughing through this. I found myself enjoying it. The character interaction I thought was great. But there was, there was some nitpicky stuff. I'll get to it, but I don't want to give away any spoiler stuff with this. But
there's one or two things that I'm like, that could have been a little bit better. But it is, those things are so, it's like on a chalkboard, the grains within the chalkboard, they're so tiny compared to, and I'll be honest, you saying that makes me happy because for those of you out there who watch our stuff, the all 40 of you each time, a lot of times Jim will choose a different perspective from me. So there's conversation about the positives and negatives of things. And we have conversations about things. And I was wondering, because I knew what my reaction is. And if you're watching TikTok and YouTube Shorts, you've known that for a couple of days. I was wondering what Jim's reaction would be, because then I was going to spend the next hour trying to explain to him why he's wrong.
Fair enough. So, no, I thought this was really good. And like I said, I like the characters. I like the interaction. One thing I really liked was the down tone of the power level. I really liked it, bringing it back to even the simple question right there. None of us can fly. You know what I mean? I'm like, yeah.
Okay. My favorite line in all the MCU is, "What is grief but love persevering?" Hands down. But I swear to God, I was on meth might be my second favorite line. I about fell out of my chair. That was great. A dumb little funny callback.
Yes. Oh, with the chicken. That was
just
hilarious.
Beating the crap out of everybody with the sign. I'm like,
all right. So we're going to go into a recap of this. We're going to talk about a couple things. We're going to get into some spoilers. If you haven't seen this, go see it. This was fun. Superhero, not superhero. This was a fun film. And I had a couple characters I want to talk about, get into some stuff. But here's your spoiler warning. All right, that's it. And let's move on. So Overall, I liked a lot of this. I liked all the major characters, Yelena, Bucky getting involved. The way Bucky got involved, I thought was great. Red Guardian, um, complaining about the size of America when he's from Russia. What? Ghost, U.S. Agent, and then we got Taskmaster.
So I'm gonna tell you, I watch a lot of YouTube commentary, and I especially watch the Geek Buddies. And
Yeah.
one of the things they pointed out in every single trailer reaction is, "Wow, the Taskmaster is in one scene. That seems like she's not long for the world because it looks like a scene where they're not together yet."
Yeah.
Early on in the movie, and then like the day after the premiere, it started circling around that, hey, there's a shocking death scene in the beginning. And the Geek Buddies went, I wonder who that could be. It still caught me off guard.
Yeah, I was surprised.
Yeah.
I was surprised. I'm also disappointed. I wanted more out of that character, but are they really dead?
They got shot in the head and lit on fire. Like,
yeah.
We could argue, is Tony dead? Is Black Widow dead? That girl's dead. Linko's time in the Marvel Universe is kaput.
Yeah, and I'm kind of sad about that. I wanted them involved more. I like Taskmaster a lot, and I'm hoping they're not gone. I'm hoping that it's that something happened. They got taken out. That something weird. It was a clone or something. I don't know. But I would like Taskmaster back in there. So, with that being said, any surprises on anything from this team formation or setup? I wouldn't think there'd be much for you.
Honestly, there were not. The only twist to me was the one at the end. I wasn't sure what the asterisk meant. So it could have gone a number of ways. And I think this is the best option because the name Avengers with new in front of it is not just they are the new Avengers. The new Avengers is a team name. And catastrophe always follows the name. So I think instead of going, yay, the new Avengers, we went, oh, fuck, the new Avengers.
Yeah. And I love the little scenes at the end with we're getting sued for this? Or like Avengers with a Z. No copyright infringement. We could be the Avengers.
It's like Avengers. I need an Avengers style shirt of this team now.
Oh, that would be great. With spelled with a Z.
Call them the lightning screws.
No, I want them to be called the Avengers with a Z.
Yes. Oh, duct taped on.
That would be hilarious.
So there was not much that was like big shocking reveal, much like the Winter Soldier with the Hydra thing. What I will say though is the scenes. So in the trailers, you saw like the scenes in the woods. I was like, that's got to be a flashback. Yeah. Did not know it was what it was. That was cool.
No, and when that tied back into the whole item with the Century.
Yeah.
That was like everybody that got zapped up, when you realize they weren't dying, that they were getting trapped in like their worst memory.
Solvers.
Yeah. So, all right. So here's my questions for your characters and see what you think.
All right.
Yelena. What do you think about her in like the like maybe a leadership role or moving forward? You see that?
Oh yeah. I mean, I get Bucky is as close to the real Captain America as we had. We have John Walker, who was Captain America. We got Red Guardian, Ghost, whatever, and then of course there's Val. But they were so right to see this movie in Florence Pugh's performance as Yelena. I forget she's British. That moment on the sidewalk when her and Red Guardian are really just having the just raw, like, we suck. Yep. And he says, I know you've done bad things. Then she says, but I have done so many. And then she calls him daddy. I'm just like sitting in my seat just bawling because I'm like, oh my God, she's carrying the weight of everything she's ever done.
starting as a
Yeah.
child. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but for me, that was not the part that got it. For me, it was him saying, I didn't think you'd want me. You know, that's the one that got
Yeah.
me. But I got some little ones at home, so of course, that's going to hit me like that. Like thinking that, so that would be a little more.
Man.
Yeah.
So back to the 90s with the Uncle Phil. And I didn't think you wanted me, Uncle Phil. Ah.
So no, but I'll tell you though, I thought that some of the delivery of lines by Yelena, Red Guardian, and I'm going to say Bucky, those three were, their comedic timing was the best. You know what I mean? U.S. Agent, I think he's not supposed to be that quick on the uptake, so I think his comic lines were a little harder. Not that he didn't care, but that was good. All right, so let's move on to Bucky. Do you think that my question is, do you think he's going to stay a congressman, or do you think that's the short, or is he like only going to last?
Well, apparently nowadays you can be wherever the fuck you want when you're in the federal government. So I don't know. Would you like to be a government-trained or government-sponsored vigilante and a congressman? Seems like you vote in your own declaration of war. I doubt it. I think Val was right in saying, "Hey, you only got through half a term." I don't know what the purpose of this was. Like, we were not. There is something missing between Falcon Winter Soldier, between Captain America: Brave New World, and this movie that explains why he ran for Congress and how the hell he got elected. But again, looking at nowadays, and I think it was lost in Falcon Winter Soldier.
You think it was in those scenes?
I think it was in Captain America, because that's when he's running for it, and I think so. And that's unfortunate, because that's in an interconnected universe. When you have a project that gets so blendered like that, it affects all the other projects connected to it. It doesn't hurt this project, because this project is so strong.
No, it is.
But that's one of the things that nitpicks me. I'm like, okay, now he's Congressman Avenger.
Yep.
So
we'll see if he stays. It'd be interesting. So
yeah, I agree.
All right. So Red Guardian. I mean, what do you think about his role? What do you think about like his timing with the stuff? He might not have been the strongest of the characters, but I think he might have been my favorite as far as we're a team, and pushing it all together, and his commentary and some of his lines. I thought he was hilarious, and I love him, the actor himself, like the Stranger Things actor.
Oh yeah,
he's good.
David Harbour's awesome. I think he is a little bit of the Amon Villani, I want to be a team naivety from the Marvels mixed with Thor's derpiness from the Avengers. And it's just the right mixture. And it works.
But his like wanting to be a hero and wanting to be loved again, and look on his face when the people were clapping, and him saving that little girl, he's a hero at heart. He really is.
I know this is probably later on, but that moment when he saves the girl and the thing breaks over him, I'm like, oh yes. And I'm in the middle of my word yes, and she vanishes. I'm like, yeah.
Oh, I know. Didn't it just
Marvel?
Just gotcha.
Like, how dare you? Yeah. That's when I knew. I was like, they can't be dying right now. Because Marvel's not going to splatter a kid across the screen.
Well, he didn't splatter. It just disappeared. But, all right. So, no, but I thought he was great. I loved him. And I'm looking forward to seeing more of him and more of this role. I'd like to see these guys in it. And I think they're going to show up in the Secret War stuff. But
well, they all these were on the list for Doomsday.
Yep.
So I think
all right.
Julia Dreyfus was too, but I'm not sure. But I know all 5 Thunderbolts were.
Yep. What about U.S. Agent? What do you think about him in this one?
I'm frustrated that his family got more backstory here than they did in the entire 8-episode run of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And that was in 3 minutes.
Yeah. Him lying about it and then finding the truth and everything. And
yeah.
Yeah.
I think he was better served in this movie than he was in that show.
Yeah. This was a redemption arc for him, I thought.
Agreed. It's all for all of them. We have taken all these characters and said, hey, some of you were the most evil motherfuckers. Some of you weren't so bad, but you were still bad.
Right.
And we're going to make you cultural. Like, we're going to put you on a Wheaties box. Mm-hmm. Hey,
and
Bucky, you literally killed JFK, but you're an Avenger now.
A new Avenger.
Yes, you're one of the new Avengers.
Yeah. So I did love how Bucky captured all of them.
Oh yeah, because he knows what he's doing. They all know what they're doing individually. They don't as a team.
No.
And yeah.
But I did love that. They didn't. I don't think they were planning on him attacking them. Thought they were saving them. Right. But yeah. So. All right. So, any of the other characters that you thought did well want to talk about? I mean,
I'm gonna be honest. I forgot the feel of Ghost because I think again another character who was so much better served in this movie than in her origin. When we got to Ant-Man and the Wasp, I've only seen that movie I think twice all the way through, but that was sandwiched between two of the biggest Marvel movies that may ever have occurred.
Yes, absolutely.
Doomsday and Secret Invasion down the road, pending that, they might be the two biggest movies we'll ever see of all time.
Right.
So she got a little overshadowed and then forgotten. That was 7 years ago.
Yeah.
I really like this character.
I thought she was good. I really enjoyed her in here. I thought she did well. She played well. Her chemistry was good with the other people. You could tell that she too wants to be part of something, and she wants a place to be. And I think all of them kind of found that. So, and I have to say that is it Vanessa? Valentina. Yes, she was good. You hated her, but she was good.
I think she was better utilized in this movie than she has been in Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, in Hawkeye, in any of the other things where she shows up. This has been the best movie for her.
This also shows all that stuff together, like what she was working on for all these things. That's great there. All right, so the last character I want to talk about of the new Avengers, Bob.
Yeah.
Bob's got issues.
I just want to point out that releasing this movie 2 months prior to Superman means that the conversation this summer will just be Bob, Sentry, or Superman. Which flying beat stick with an S on his chest belt is better?
Oh, when it comes to the power that they've got, it looked very much like he's a Superman clone. Because Superman is fast, he's strong. I mean,
I think Sentry takes it though.
That'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to see. It's really Superman's tough to beat.
He is. Oh, really? It would not be a fun fight, but it's like Invincible. When Invincible and Omni-Man go up against each other, it's a hell of a fight. I think Sentry gets the edge though. He's got a lot of additional things. That's a different video, but
let's do that video.
Yes.
I like it. We'll talk about it. I'll do some research and I'll come back and we'll pick sides and then we'll argue. I like it. All right. So let's get into some of the other things that we've got here. Some of the other talking points I've got here. So based on how this kind of ended up, where they
wait. Let's go back to Sentry for just a minute because we didn't really talk about him. I started talking about Superman. I did not know this character prior to this movie. I'd read a little about him, and I knew the line "Power of a Thousand Exploding Suns" because it's on the front of his first comic.
Right.
I didn't expect that to be the first line about the guy in the movie. That was brilliant because it's a dumb line, but it was smart. Lewis Pullman, when I found out he was cast in this, I went and watched a show called Lessons in Chemistry on Apple TV.
Sure.
Brilliant show. He plays kind of the same quirky socially awkward character.
Yeah.
And damn if he doesn't feel right for this role. Like, I can't imagine Steven Yeun playing.
No. His ability to play that disoriented, but trying to fit in, unsure where he's at, character when he's in the base, and then his ability to get manipulated because somebody wants him and he's always wanted to feel wanted and he was lost. Yeah, and he played it just well. And then at the end, he's like, "Sorry guys, I can't fly."
Yeah.
I
think
only
one of the
someone could
coolest...
fly. The Red Guardian on top of Sentry. Yes.
I think one of the coolest moments was when all the then Thunderbolts run away, and she starts giving him orders, and he says, "I don't need to listen to you. You said I'm more powerful than all of the Avengers combined, and at least one of them's a god. So why should a god listen to you?" And I'm like,
it was disturbing.
Oh, man. Right.
She realized at that point she'd lost.
Oh yeah.
And then she tried to set off then they used the detonator thing, which just made him go overboard.
Yep.
So he still has all that power though.
Yeah, I got a feeling that when Arsham the Judge shows up or somebody else, they're going to go, "Oh, hey, Sentry, go." He's the Hulk.
I was going to say, exactly it. Maybe you should get angry now.
No. But maybe you should get introspective right now.
No, this is the thing, though. This is what they should have done, and I know that was Sony and not Marvel, with the Dark Phoenix.
100%. This is the Dark Phoenix.
This level of power gone bad, and what it can mean, and this scope of things. You know what I mean?
Man, you saying that now has me so excited for when we finally get to a real Dark Phoenix saga.
And it should be a couple of shows. It should build over a couple movies.
It should be a phase.
Oh,
we should get not a phase, it's a saga. We should get the Mutant Saga and then the Dark Phoenix saga after that.
That would be amazing.
Yes.
With Jean Grey, from Phoenix becoming Phoenix, then becoming Dark Phoenix. Yep. All right.
Fire made flesh.
Also another show. We'll talk. Let's do a short on that one. We'll do that. All right. So let's move on here too, because I mean we're I don't want to run too long here. But so based on the end of this and the way they were unveiled at the end, is this actually a superhero team or is this a tool for Valentina?
Oh, it's a superhero team, but Valentina has no power now.
You don't think so?
When
she's got power.
As soon as she said the new Avengers, I went, "Oh, she thinks she's in charge, but that's not going to work." And then Yelena walked over and said, "We own you now." And I went, "This is the power dynamic. Yelena's in charge, and Val is basically the administrative assistant."
We'll see, but I do think she's going to try to use them as tools, and I think that's going to be the crux of one of the next ones. So.
Yeah, I like this team. I think they'll stay. I think they'll have difficulties competing, so to speak, with the other Avengers, because Sam's going to go grab people like She-Hulk and Moon Knight. So yeah,
a power level wise, these guys are not on the level of Iron Man and Thor and all that. These are ragtag, scrappy dudes. These are more Guardian of the Galaxy level.
I think the most powerful member on the team, Sentry aside, because he might be one of the most powerful people in Marvel right now.
Yes, he might be.
I think the most powerful member is Ghost. And not in raw power, but in what she can do.
Yeah. I mean, because none of them are. I mean, Winter Soldier is smart and he can fight. Red Guardian is strong. Yeah, but I mean, really, when it came up to like fighting really powerful people, the Avengers, There were a couple of people that could go toe to toe with the Hulk, but most of them couldn't. I mean, Captain America could try, but it's not going to be a long fight. It could be a long fight, but it's not going to be.
Thor was getting his teeth kicked in.
So Thor can hold his own against him. But that's the level. I mean,
yeah.
And would I take Thor over Iron Man? Absolutely. When he could just
Iron Man needed a bigger suit.
Off.
Yes.
Yep. So yeah, and the Thor Buster armor, maybe that might be a better fight. But so. All right. So in here, though, I think if we look at characters that needed a redemption arc and those who did not, do you think the ones who needed it got it?
Yeah, I think they did every single, with the exception of Taskmaster. I think they did
Taskmaster to come back.
I do too, because it's a fascinating character.
It is.
She should have whooped the crap out of everyone in that room before she finally was taken out. Yes.
That's the thing. She's like Batman.
And the only thing I think,
the second time.
Right. I think the only thing that stopped her is she can't mimic ghost powers. But all that said, I think they did every single character justice. They did more for each character than the original Avengers movie did for every Avenger.
I think so. But these guys needed it more.
Right.
I think so.
Yeah, we get into the Avengers and we've had, 2 Iron Man movies, Captain America movie, a Hulk movie, a Thor movie. Black Widow's a shooty, and we know Hawkeye's an arrow guy. That's all we needed.
Exactly. So, but I thought we saw all these guys in other movies, so it was good to see them come together. I thought it was good. All right, so let's see here. Let's get into. I have my opinion on this, but I want to make sure. What do you think about the balance of humor and drama? Did it land? Did it feel forced? What did you think of that?
I thought it was great.
I have to agree.
I think this is one of the best balanced movies I've seen.
I did. Well, comedy-wise, it was great. I did feel a little of the forced connection for the redemption and the acceptance of each other that then had to be used again. I thought that was kind of pushed a little hard, but not bad. I mean, it wasn't like some of the stuff we saw in like some of the drama that was forced in some of the other things we've seen recently where you need to have stuff happen. But yeah, we'll take it. All right. Oh, go ahead.
One of my favorite sequences is when they're in the big box van going through New York, and Red Guardian looks over at Bucky and he's like, "So we could be co-leaders, right?" He's like, "Whatever." And he goes, "So what's his plan? There's building, it has door. Do we just walk in?" And then the next scene is just and then they beat the crap together out of everybody. And then the speaker comes like, "Guys, I left the door open." Like, this is what this team is going to do. Like, I am down for 15 more movies like this.
What I want to see is I want to see Guardians of the Galaxy versus Thunderbolts. What's the plan? We just got to wing it.
I'm just saying right now, though, Guardians have Alpha Groot, Phyla, and Adam Warlock. All 3 of those are powerhouses.
Yeah.
Like, they gonna need some help.
See, this is more like the original, other than Groot. Groot was a powerhouse, I understand.
Yeah.
But other than Groot, this is very similar to the original Guardians of the Galaxy group.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, you got a couple of good fighters, you got a couple of good shooters, you got a strong man who, it's very similar to the original one. Groot was the one that was the powerhouse, though. But Groot, he didn't care. He's going to hang out with his friends. That's it. You get in the way of his friends, there's a problem. You don't, he doesn't care. He drinks out of the fountain because he's thirsty.
Right.
So, all right here. So let's move on here to some. All right. So let's come here. So I think Val here, is she going to be like the new Nick Fury or no?
Nick Fury was always 3 steps ahead of everybody, and he
Still
knew
is.
things. And well, I mean, you're not wrong. He's always 3 steps ahead of everyone. He doesn't need any help. planning things. He is more in control than the heroes are. And Val was that right up until Sentry threw up against the wall.
Yep.
And then it all went downhill from there. The play to get them in front of the cameras was masterful, but it did not do what she wanted it to do.
Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah. So I don't see her getting that same kind of role. I see her trying to do that, and I see them using it this way, and they're kind of, I can actually see them trying to compete against each other. And I'm going to give 9 times out of 10, I'm going to bet on Nick Fury.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I also, I like Julia Louis-Dreyfus. I like the character, but knowing what I know from the, you know what Valentina Allegra de Fontaine is in the comics, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's Madam Hydra. Like, I know where this is going, and Bucky's working for her. So that seems like a giant problem. So
I think that's going to come out.
Teeth kicked in. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that could happen unless she takes the serum that worked on Sentry, and
pass.
So, all right. So, let's see. I don't know if I want the what's there. So let's see. How do you think? Do you think this signals a change in the storytelling that we're going to get in Marvel? You think we're going to get more of this grittier stuff, kind of like we saw in Daredevil, kind of like we saw in this?
I apologize. I didn't realize that's what you meant. So on the macro sense, on the corporate side of things, when Bob Iger took over from Chapek and slowed things down and said, hey, we need to reorganize and focus more on the craft, the creativity, and storytelling rather than pumping out content to make things.
I agree. It seems
Daredevil and Captain America Brave New World were the last 2 projects under the factory level production. Mm-hmm. And that's why they're so like disjointed and rewritten, and you can tell just watching them. This is the first one where they said focus solely on telling a good story, nothing else. And it really does show.
It did.
I think if we get a Fantastic Four that's this quality, and we roll into Doomsday and they tell a good, compelling story why there's 170,000 actors in the same movie, and then we roll into Secret Wars and it wraps both sagas up and we clean slate to mutants, I think Endgame was a cinematic achievement that's not going to be matched in a long time. But I think if they go through phases 4 and 5 and the rocky moments they have, and they take phase 6 and make that all make sense and do it in like the quality of this movie, they will have done something that will bypass Endgame in its achievement to me. Even if it doesn't make $2 billion, $3 billion.
Yeah, I don't see it doing that.
Yeah. It'll make $2 billion. I doubt it'll make 3. But I think if they can make it
with inflation, it might. You never know.
Tariffs on the movies. I think
just happened this week. You did see that, right?
Yeah. How the hell do you tariff a movie?
You put if they try to bring it in the United States, you charge them money. That's terrible. Anyhow,
people. I think if they bring out a 1-2 punch in Doomsday Secret Wars and make all of this make sense.
Yep.
And put it all together in a nice package that's at least understandable to the general audience, I think it might be an achievement rivaling Endgame.
That could be good. All right, so let's round this out here before we get some final thoughts. Your favorite action scene or character moment?
We didn't have any moments that were like, I understood that reference. But I'm telling you, when they're in that gas station, all tied to the benches, and they're all trying to, it's Bob this, it's Bob that, and Bucky's like, whatever, because it sounds, even to the audience, it sounds like they're just making it up. Who the heck is named Bob? Then he gets a call, and he's like, blah, 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 blah. Who's Bob? And everybody goes, it's Bob! And he's like, fine. I'm like, this just works. As far as action sequences, I loved everything after they leave the tower, when the crap starts falling from the sky.
That was
each of them are saving people and being Avengers. To the moment they all push to be fair, the only reason they all got together and pushed it over because Elena Belova's not helping push a giant piece of concrete over.
No,
Ghost, as far as I know, Ghost is not super strong.
No, she's not.
The only reason they did that is so it could fall down and you see the team together. But that moment was their
cinematic scene
shot. It was their circle shot.
Yep. All right. So my favorite scene in this is when the limo is driving up through the desert and she's like, hide, just hide. She goes, and she's like, it's my dad.
I know it. Yelena, it's a trap.
I love that scene. I started driving as soon as I heard. It's just great. I loved it. That was my favorite. I think that was my favorite. My favorite action scene, though, I think was when they were inside Century.
Oh, 100%.
When they're fighting and they were coming together for that one scene, and I really liked the way they were working together and they were helping each other out. I mean, it was that come together moment, but I really thought because they couldn't beat him outside, there's no way, that they came together, and that decision in there goes like, she must have known something. She would not have done that without a reason.
Yeah. And
they all decide to go in. They all trusted her enough to go forward.
That's why she's the leader.
I liked it. So, all right.
They beat him with the power of friendship. Friendship is magic.
It is the power of friendship. All right. Anything fall flat on this for you?
No, not a thing. Which is crazy. With the string of Marvel things we've talked about the last couple of years, you know how critical I've been about certain things. Look at
Unduly
Secret
so.
Wars
I mean,
and
it's
Daredevil.
all been brilliant. I don't know why I don't know why you think any of it was poor.
Don't get me wrong.
You're an MCU hater. Just admit it.
I love the MCU, but I acknowledge there have been some turds in the punch bowl in the last 5 years. This is not one of them.
No, this was fun. This was fun.
I do want to.
Oh, go ahead. No, you got it. Continue.
Before we go, you finish the rest of those thoughts and things. I want to point out. I know you're not as much of a score whore, but there was Thunderbolts tone. Oh yeah, I will say that is one of the nitpicks I have. All these cool versions of these songs, like "No Stopping Us" and "Under Pressure," they didn't put them in the movie. Like, get it. Did you hear the Thunderbolts theme on the credits?
Nope.
It is the Avengers that the staccato strings, but it's got this like boom, 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 boom,
more like a Russian feel.
Oh man, like Alan Silvestri again, man, is just killing it.
I did point out. I did hear the music. I just don't pay much attention to it. I thought the music was fitting. Some of the stuff that was in there, I thought it was well done. I didn't think anything was out of place, but there was nothing like Ragnarok with the Led Zeppelin. You know what I mean?
Right.
So nothing hit me like that. I mean, that was good there. All right. My only thing that fell flat for me was the death of Taskmaster. I wanted Taskmaster part of the team.
Same.
I did not want them to get taken out because I thought that they needed, if there was a character who needed a redemption arc, it was them. And
so the way that I look at movies is on a, A through F, a B movie, and not to say a B movie like people think of B movies. B movie has done everything correct.
Mm-hmm.
The death of Taskmaster brings that down to a B- for me. But everything that they did beyond the level of correct, because we've been talking for 40 minutes, we haven't addressed the fact that this movie's plot line is how super people deal with mental health.
Oh, yeah, that is true.
And the way they handled that's a full letter grade for me, because as somebody who deals with that void and can get stuck in that, holy crap. To see it visually on screen. Oops. Yeah,
I mean, it came out more than once in there. I mean, if we look at the even if we look at the Red Guardian's house, look at this.
Yeah.
I'm miserable. You know what I mean? and she's complaining about stuff, and Bucky doesn't look happy as a senator. He looks out of place. The horrible place that U.S. agent is in with the with the loss of his family and all of that, them leaving and him being in depression, and I can see him going through that. Ghost didn't seem to have quite as much of that come out, but you could see that there was still loneliness there that was there because she wanted to be part of something, otherwise she would have left. Yeah, and that was really good. I'm glad they took care of that. I'm glad they looked into that and said, look, everybody's got this. Superhero or not, you can have these feelings. Yeah. And it was nice for them to address that and bring that in there. But that is part of it felt a little forced for me as a solution at the end then too. But mildly. I would still rather see it addressed and see it as part of it. And it made for some really good emotional scenes as people were dealing with stuff. And you could see, like, even though I'm not a huge fan of the US agent actor, you could see the pain on his face when people found out that that he was lying about his family, and that he was covering it up, and nobody said anything. Everybody just kind of, hey, we get it, I thought that was good.
All of them that's had that happen. Ghost family disowned her. Yelena and Great Guardian, I think, were orphans, and they were paired up to be father and daughter as spies in America. Bucky's family are dead.
His best friend's dead.
Taskmaster's father turned her into a monster.
Yep.
Like, and Julie Louis
she didn't get to get over that.
Right. Well, fair. Well, she did in the Black Widow movie.
Right. Fair enough. Yeah,
even Val had that moment. Like, it's so good.
All right. So here we go. We're going to wind things up here because we're going to try to get this in under 45 minutes, which was not my goal, but it's close enough. Your quick summary. What was your one sentence review of this?
Go see it in theaters. Don't get spoiled. 10 out of 10.
My one sentence on this one is going to be a great movie, superhero or no.
Yeah.
It's got a lot in there. It's got drama. It's got comedy. And it's not over-the-top superhero. These are like...
Yeah.
I mean, they might be superheroes by definition, but they're not... It's not overpowered by superpowers. It's people overcoming everyday issues together.
Agreed. One thing before we go that I will say, if you have not seen how they're changing the ad campaign now, go watch some clips or reels on Instagram or shorts on YouTube or something, because what they're doing now is one of the things they released is the group all standing around a marquee that has a Thunderbolts poster. Yep. And Elena's like, something's wrong, and walks up and rips a chunk off, and now it says New Avengers. Sebastian Stan is walking around LA to bus stops and replacing Thunderbolts poster with the exact same poster. It just says New Avengers.
With a Z?
It's brilliant. No.
That would be funnier.
But it's brilliant. The phrase Marvel is back. That's my one sentence, is Marvel's back.
All right. I will take that. So, all right. I'm going to wrap it up here, unless you've got something else, Jake.
No, I've had enough of something else's.
All right. So that's a wrap on this episode of Marvelous Nerds. Whether you're Team Thunderbolts or just here for Bucky's brooding charm, we're glad you came with us. So don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, hit us up on the social down below. We'd love to hear your takes on this, on the film, on the characters, what your one sentence review of this would be. We'd love to see it. Put it in the comments down below. So next time, stay curious, stay heroic, and most of all, stay marvelous.